Hi, my name is Thomas Carden, and I'd like to read one of my short stories for you. It's called The Trap. The perfect woman stepped onto the uptown bus, then disappeared from his life a moment later. The bright curls of her hair mocked him like blonde serpents from the glassy reflections of every car that passed while he sat on the bench and watched the uptown bus vanish into traffic. Heat haze tore it apart as if it were a cloud. "You've done it again," he muttered to himself. He could have gotten on the bus with her. Would it have killed him to go out of his way? It had been a trap. There he'd sat on the bench, waiting for his crosstown bus, when she'd alighted on the bench beside him like a wisp of dream. She smelled of peaches when she smiled. Then she set her trap. 6 words that now burned holes in his mind. "Which bus are you waiting for?" Like an idiot, he answered while losing himself in her wide green eyes. "The crosstown." She frowned. She'd actually frowned. A frown showed disappointment. God, he was a moron. Then she dropped the hammer on him, crushed him like a pancake. "Uptown bus for me." What would it have cost him to get on the uptown bus with her? She could have turned to him and sneered, if such an expression could even be shaped by her lips. She could have said, "You said you were waiting for the crosstown. Are you stalking me? Are you some kind of creep?" That thought kept him on the bench as she stood when the air brakes of the uptown bus squealed. That thought had made him evade her eyes as she glanced toward him to say, "This is mine." Then she vanished. He could have stood asking, "Do you mind if I accompany you? I know it's not my bus, but I can catch the downtown back." He even rehearsed the line. Did it sound creepy? Was it too stalkerish? "I'd like to talk with you," he'd have said to her questioning eyes. "I'd like to get to know you." In his mind's eye, she would smile at that, and give a slight nod. She'd been disappointed to hear he took the crosstown. She'd wanted him to take her bus. Of course she would have welcomed him. Moron. The city was huge, and that's my cat. The city was huge, and he'd sat at the bus stop every afternoon for the last 2 weeks while saving to get his car repaired. He'd never seen her before, and he'd never seen her again. This perfect woman who had fearlessly sat beside him and smiled was gone. All she had to do to separate herself. It was all she had to do to separate herself from the buzzing, blurring crowd. It took a lot of strength for a woman to sit down beside a strange man and smile. She'd even spoken to him first. That smile, the words, they made her beautiful to him. When the crosstown arrived, he climbed aboard, then sat, dropping his head into his hands. He'd gotten on the wrong bus. That's it. I hope you like that. I'll leave some links in the comments. Um, Thank you for listening.